Hey, how's it going? Another 2-minute drill here on 1520. The Ticket, Scotty Matthews with Frank Spade. Been a while since we talked, my man. What's new?
Oh, well, it's the fall season, right? So
Yeah.
all the fall sports are going on. High school, now college. NFL starts this week.
Yes.
The teams all cut their rosters to 53 players over the weekend, and we know that it's not ever the final 53 players because somebody usually gets hurt or something comes up, and suddenly there's changes. But as of now, the Vikings have their 53-man roster set. What do you think?
I'm liking it so far. It compliment to Rick Spielman to find that 53 and not cut a lot of his own guys that's been coming up, from special teams. They become starters. It's been good drafting by Spielman so far. So, kudos to him.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that there's only 9 new faces on this roster, which also says to me that they were pretty comfortable with what they were working with last year. Mm-hmm. Whereas in past years, a lot of times it seemed like they were looking to fill a lot of holes. Didn't seem like this year they had a lot of holes to fill. Obviously we've got the elephant in the room, the Teddy Bridgewater situation, bringing Sam Bradford in. I was surprised they cut the 2 of the quarterbacks. Sorensen and Stave are off the roster, which means you look at it, they're carrying 2 quarterbacks right now, and only one of them's been here longer than how many days, right?
I know, and they're both injury prone. So, for that, I think when it comes down to it, when we only keep 2 quarterbacks, we stash Stave on our practice squad. You just gotta hope that Bradford and now the backup, Sean Hill, at least after week 1, I would imagine, they just need to stay upright.
Right. It's gonna be Hill's job in week 1. Who knows after that? I suppose it depends on how fast Bradford can adjust to the system here. If he steps in and decides he's gonna make this position his own, what's gonna happen there? Who knows? But yeah, I think with a position that important, we knew that losing Bridgewater was a big deal. But I think, now you're looking at the roster, we're looking at this final 53, and it's like, that's a big position that now has a million question marks, it seems like.
But I think one of you and I were talking off mic, some sleeper guys on the team. Who do you think is going to excel and who might be the forgotten man? I think Alex Boone is going to be one of the best Vikings, or at least he's going to have to be, to kind of solidify that line, because we lost John Sullivan. We cut him last week. We've got Matt Khalil, who's been literally a roller coaster of a left tackle since he was drafted after his rookie year. And then you've got guys like Joe Berger at center, Brandon Fusco at right guard, and then you got Andre Smith, we signed from the Cincinnati Bengals, at right tackle. So there's your offensive line. I think Boone, being the crazy guy that he is, he's going to keep everybody in line, and more importantly, Sam Bradford upright.
Right. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. But I think so far it sounds like it's going to be it could be a really good combination. So I'm excited for that. Some interesting guys that are on the roster maybe that we weren't anticipating, and a few earlier to mid-round draft picks that didn't even make the team. I'm thinking of Cordero Patterson and the issues that the Vikings have had with him, and yet he's on there. They got 6 wide receivers, and he's one of the names they've kept. So we'll see if maybe this year's his year. Every year is going to be his year, and maybe this is it. I don't know.
Maybe Norville try to figure out some plays to get him sneaking, but it's almost, he's a gimmick at this point. So anytime he's in the game, guess who the defense is going to focus in on? So there's no more end-arounds. There's no more fluky plays. There's no more Percy Harvin running in the backfield kind of plays with Cordero anymore. Everybody knows he's going to get the ball 90% of the time if he's on the field, because they just line up the different formations. They're not fooling anybody anymore. So.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Cordero, because it's been a real, I would say up and down, but really it's been mostly down from the way things have gone the last few years. So, but, I think there's a lot of excitement. I think, we got a lot of really good young defensive backs, kept 10, including our hometown Marcus Sherrills, so I think there's some real excitement there. They've picked up some good players in those positions, and it'll be fun to see. It's too bad makes me wonder if maybe we won't play with like a 6 defensive back set at times or something in the pass-happy NFL. But we definitely seem to have the personnel to do some great things and keep quarterbacks from completing a lot of passes.
Yeah, our defense is going to be top 5 this year for sure. They just look mean. They got the whole personality of our head coach, Mike Zimmer. And it's going to be just a ton of fun to watch on Sundays.
Yeah, I hope so, because, we're going to have to rely on the defense. We're going to have to rely on AP to pretty much carry the load this year at this point. Even if Bradford comes in, it's going to take him a while to learn the system. Hopefully, maybe Bradford gets comfortable with the system, then he can come in and make a big difference. But you can't expect a guy to come in and make an immediate impact at a position as important as quarterback. There's just too much to know and too much to learn in a really short time. You need a whole preseason.
The first 3 things Bradford needs to learn, and they're all the same, just hand it to 28. That's all he needs to know. And that's the bottom line. Just hand it to 28 and we should be set. That's going to do it for this edition of the 2-Minute Drill on 1520 The Ticket. Check out more stories right now at 1520theticket.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook, 1520 The Ticket. I'm Scotty. This is Frank Spaeth. We'll see you back here next time.
Thanks for listening.